And so imagine this source energy, let's call it God, you usually do. This source energy who is the consensus of what everyone, even one-celled organisms, have been asking for that would be best for them. Can you imagine a more equal opportunity? Can you imagine anything being more right than for there to be a holder of all requests and a pushing against nothing? An environment where what you ask for is always given? When you get in the vortex, you don't feel up in arms about others. When you're in the vortex, you're in this magical swirl of all things working out for you. And there are so many people who have discovered what that is. And they are people who have learned to talk about what they want, not about what they don't want. They are people who have learned to praise rather than criticize. They are people who have learned to be optimistic rather than pessimistic. They are people who have trained themselves, thought by thought, into the vortex. And that's really what we're talking about. For you to be the immediate beneficiaries of the escrow that you have lined up for yourself, you have to become a vibrational match to it. That's what it's all about. So, what do you want to talk about? We see you've come with nothing. Well, we're going to have a wonderful day of unfolding.
www.headmystic.com. Leave your ego at the door.
Peace, man. We're back again with another video, and today we are discussing the Virgo New Moon, which takes place September 28th, 2018. With new moons, we always want to bring it back to basics and then figure out how we're going to start from the beginning and, really cleanse and purify our energy during the waning moon to really arrive to a new moon to set brand new, pure intentions, understanding the different constellations, other fixed stars associated with this energy, understand as a womb, or understand as a place to plant a seed, a fertile ground. So all my gardeners out there, when we're planting seeds, there's a good time to do it, there's a bad time to do it, and this is what we are referencing when we are trying to manifest good things in our lives and then trying to figure out a way to do so. So many times we could read a book and never factor in the cosmological conditions for certain things. So we've started businesses, we've formed partnerships, we've bought our house, and these things tend to either be favorable or unfavorable. But within astrology, there is a solution and an answer to when things are favorable to begin. How should you end things? When should you end things? Timing is everything. And cosmology and astrology combined, they help us figure out the timing of things. So this new moon will be conjunct the fixed star of Zaniah, personifying the energy of negotiation, getting what you deserved. Zaniah is a goddess, and the interesting thing about the constellation of Virgo is that each star represents a particular aspect of the goddess. So we've been dealing with a lot of goddess energy on this channel, and it's just ironic. And so what I am referencing is sidereal astrology, Vedic astrology, as opposed to Western astrology. So the majority of the new moon articles and videos will be centered in a new moon in Libra, and that's because they're using Western astrology. So just kind of give you a heads up if you're a little confused. So in this space and in this understanding, we are discussing how to become spiritual engineers, imagineers, spiritualists, and what this means to be quote unquote witches, to be, people who take their lives into their own hands and live a life of intention. Why would you set intention?
Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things. And I would take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places. And as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, sit on a bench, eating peanuts, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together. It all started from a daddy with 2 daughters wondering where he could take them, where he could have a little fun with them too.
Is your birthday coming? Okay. If you could go anywhere, where would you want to go? Why don't we go?
Okay, let's go.
Now. Today. I'm being serious.
We going?
We're leaving today to go to Disneyland.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
Are we done?
Yes, we're going. I love you.
I love you too.
Why would you set intention if you don't expect it to manifest? It's not necessarily a hobby when your life is in the balance. So taking this energy extremely serious is what this actual Sabian symbol speaks to. The actual word is Imagineers, and this is corresponding to a dream that went along with this study where the word was engine. And engine means a North American Indian, but in my brain, I visualize an actual engine like a motor. So there's engine, INJUN, which is a North American Indian, a slang, derogatory term, a term that I identify with as being a North American native to this land. And simply being a native is that my mother and father was born in America. So since I'm their child, I'm a native to United States of America, quite simply. So with that understanding, engine had me understand the word engine, which the car, motor, and your lawnmower. And I had to look up the definition of, okay, what's an engine then? Well, an engine converts raw energy into mechanical energy. So if I connected those 2 words, then I'm literally a processing center for raw energy that I could use to manifest what it is I so desire, whether it be a new car, new home, new lifestyle, etc., etc. Love, career, new book, travel. I can convert these ideas in my mind into real things. Family, health. So the idea then is, what raw energy am I converting? Am I converting the programmed media propaganda energy and then bringing that into my reality? Or am I utilizing my spiritual divine energy and converting that into a tangible reality? Because we're dealing with Virgo, which is an earth sign, which represents hard work, which represents the root of hard work. And hard work could either be working for a system, or it could be working for your damn self. And then realizing and valuing the source of your creation, ritualizing, spending time with, imagining, working with, really understanding what it is to be your imagination. Those who value their imagination monetize their imagination and live comfortably on that imagination, because the realm of imagination, the realm of intellectual property is endless. The ways that you could live in that world. It's just that some people don't necessarily want to. But we all have an imagination, even if it is a positive imagination, even if it is a negative imagination. The idea is that you have a motor or an engine. You are literally an engineer of your life. The idea then is to understand what is your power source that you're connected to. And if you are connected to a divine power source, the idea is that you're connected to a vortex. If you're connected to a hip hop reality TV ADOS, treachery, debauchery, ignorance, miseducation, division, war, bickering, envy, jealousy, you name it, all in his bite-sized television episodes. Catchy songs that capture minstrel show mentality and rhythms for a new age. So, knowing the difference would be the idea for this new moon. Because if you understand a power source and being connected to a power source, then you're literally an open vessel for whatever they choose to give you. And if they choose to give you something that you're connected to, it could easily affect your emotions. The idea was I remember just asking people who were alive during the JFK assassination, and everybody says, it was just a sad day. You could feel the sadness. Everybody was just sad. And it's just power in the human connection and that emotional feed that we are all connected to, depending on the country, city, state, neighborhood, family, friendship, relationship, job, whatever feed you're connected to. And none of those feeds represent the vortex. So you have a countless amount of power sources that you could plug into. The most potent source that you could plug into is more of a autonomous loop within yourself. Because you are the source that you could plug into. But it's kind of not. It's like having an electronic device and trying to power up this electronic device and then figuring out, okay, where can I plug this device up into? But you are a generator. You create energy as well. As we move through Leo, we went through that process of creating our energy, being self-regenerating beings through cultivating our imagination. Taking control of this energy thus brings us to a point of realizing that shit, as opposed to just talking about the next book that's coming out, the next lecture, the next event that's already been planned for you, as opposed to now creating your own events, planning your own future, scheduling your own reality. I like that. Scheduling your reality. And you schedule by being in a particular vortex. And so maybe you're not aware of what a vortex was or a vortex is, but that was Abraham Hicks. But just like a brief overview of what a vortex was in our beginning clip. And in this speech, in this dialogue, in this lecture, have some clips added into what I'm saying. Because no matter what I say and how I say it, you're not gonna believe what I say, because you've not been programmed to believe a person like me could be anything other than what society has painted me to be. So no matter what type of examples you get contrary, the polarity, no matter what visions of the polarity you get, that speaks to its evilness and vileness, you still hold the viewpoint of other dynamics over a dynamic that has been painted in a certain type of way. So with that being said, we're going to add some clips to this speech just to give it more of a objective point of view. Because when we discuss astrology, it's very important that we come to a consensus of what planetary alignments are and where they are at for the people, because we have people's attention astrologically, but we constantly misinform them on the particular placements of the astrologics. We tell them what it represents to fit our narrative, but we are not studying astronomically where these things are. And if you have a particular source, if you have a particular remedy as to why you use Western astrology, I am all ears. But there is no credible source other than patriarchal colonialism as to why a person would use Western astrology. An example would be if I was to tell you, I need you to find my house. And you say, cool, what's the address? And I said, I'm on 21st Street. You said, all right, I'm on my way. Get to 21st Street, you call me. I'm on 21st Street. All right, bro. We gonna find each other. Can I get the address? Nope. It's 24 degrees from where it's not really at. Okay. North, west, south, or east. You'll figure it out. All right, beat. That's Western astrology. Sidereal astrology is, bro, I'm about to come over your house. Can I get that address? Yes, my address is 1521 21st Street Northeast, Columbus, Ohio, 43332. Okay, bet, I'm on my way. Yep, it says I'll be there in 16 minutes. Okay, I'll be outside waiting on you. That's sidereal astrology. It's more exact and to the point. So I say all of that to say that we need to create an objective point of view as the discussion of what is happening in the astronomics, so we could actually be aligned on the proper energy and not speak in conjecture and not repeat what patriarchal mindsets have already established for us. It's time for us to recreate our narrative as far as astrological conversation goes. The reason why we are not respected or reputable is because the first lesson in astrology is astronomy, and most of us don't understand astronomy. So in this channel and in these discussions, I like to keep everything on an astronomical basis. And my discussion in relation to the astronomy is what I call astrology and nothing else. So we are not talking about anything physical when we express the vortex. We're talking about something emotional that we could use to bring into the physical. So the vortex is the actual idea that signifies the engine, or becoming a spiritual engineer. And this is doubled down with the energy of a new moon, which is a time to set intentions. It's just weird how all of these things become into a deep spiritual alignment, that I'm in a space and a time where I can only speak from the truth of the larger landmass or the larger solar energy, which is Sirius, which is represented by the triple goddess. So this is my perspective. It's more of a deeper questioning, learning of reality, and the respect for the true goddess, and the understanding of the false god or the false self. Being at peace with the false self, but rising above it. And so all of this, and before I get into all of this, more or less we are moving into the realm of magic because the earth is involved. That's what makes it magic. All the shit that we imagine and hope for and think about, that's not really magical when you really think about it. But to bring something into reality, this is what Virgo is talking about. And to be in the potential space or the potential zone for that to happen is what we're talking about when we are referencing a new moon in Virgo. Hope this is making sense. And I hope that we can bring yourself to a particular alignment. In this episode, we'll be discussing some transits that assist this new moon: Saturn conjunct Ketu, Venus sextiling Jupiter, and we'll be discussing Neptune conjunct the black moon Lilith. We'll be discussing Mars. What is Mars doing? Mars is trining Pluto. And then finally, the card of the week, Ace of Wands. Channeling the inner child is another understanding of being in the vortex as well. And I guess we'll kind of end with that. So that was a long introduction. I hope you're still with me. If not, that's cool. But we really for the people that's about transformation. And so a lot of people don't want to transform. A lot of people is completely happy being human, and that's okay. But seems to be a block, especially doing astrology and dealing with all types of people. Mostly people who deal with personal success seem to can't understand what to do past being personally successful. They don't realize the power of positive team and how a positive team can either lift you up, or a negative team or no team can keep you in a stagnant state of illusion and fantasy that's very challenging and damaging to the psyche. Because the psyche wants to be around people, love, give, even if it's not around people physically. At least the conversation, at least the build, at least the friendships of the internet allows at least some type of form of release and connection that one should not be closed off to, especially in this time of age. It's all about connecting. So Venus is in the third decan. So these planets are flanked. The new moon is flanked by Mars and Venus. At one point, Mars and Venus were together, but by the 28th, they're gonna really make a significant gap between each other. So what we have is Mars in the first decan and Venus in the third decan, and Venus would be sextile in Jupiter, which is going to be in Scorpio, actually. So Venus in the earth sign, Jupiter in a water sign, understanding the process of transformation, the emotional availability of patience as a resource when manifesting things, can be assisted by the new moon by being in a particular emotional alignment. So an emotional alignment is to know that this process may take a little time, but ultimately, if you rid yourself of the negative thoughts, the separative thoughts, the divisive thoughts, unplug from the matrix, plug into yourself, understand yourself as a power source, and begin to adapt to this new way of thinking, patience is one of the keys. Patience is one of the keys. So understanding a sextile, it requires effort within itself. So this is not something easy, but this is something that's kind of for sure if you understand that. If I'm emotionally aligned, check. Using myself as a power source, check. I have to readapt myself to a new way of thinking, check. It might take some time for all of this to come into alignment. Cool. Wanting things now will have you in a particular space where nothing's really working. But how do you know it's not really working if you don't give shit time? You work on things for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, give up on things. So, you know, the more we develop things, the more we cultivate things, the more that we stay stuck on something, the more it'll manifest. And it may not be the way you initially thought it would manifest, but it initially does manifest because you have that. You might even just say it and do nothing to cultivate it, but the fact that you said it, it brings things into your awareness that allows it to manifest. And some things you work for, but ultimately it's really based on you setting up an energy of no resistance for what you want to manifest. That's why working with the moon is so powerful, because working with the moon allows it to come into manifest, where working with just your mind or just some hocus pocus or some mumbo jumbo, you may or may not. You may or may not, and that's just the reality the moon allows you to, for it to just not. And so, as we just, I can't even explain it. It's like planting a garden, you know. If I'm gonna plant a garden where I think it should go, you know, if I'm gonna put a seed where my intuition or what somebody on YouTube tell me to plant it or whatever, or I read an article that say, yeah, you can plant seeds in the couch, and I just plant a seed in the couch, nothing happens. But if I study gardening and it tells me the particular times and places and soils that's fertile, then I might have a better chance to grow some goddamn corn. So I'm gonna let KRS get into Saturn conjunct Ketu for a couple minutes.
Well, let's discuss what Ketu is first. Ketu is that headless body. Ketu doesn't think now. So when these two come together in one house, it creates a lot of frustration in a person's career. It creates a lot of frustration in a person's position of work. If a person is, let's say, an accountant in a very good firm, they're making good money, yet they will still constantly battle in their mind that, am I doing this right? What is the meaning of doing all these numbering for a company? What is all this going to give me at the end? These people feel at one point in their life, you know what I'm doing is completely meaningless. Sure, it's paying my bills. So they might just keep doing that, but they certainly turn into the mystical side, disappear.
Saturn conjunct Ketu during this new moon, it helps you exercise your memory. You know, our mind is just memories and imagination. And how you use your mind, your memories, and your imagination reflects in your 10th house. It reflects in your career. Quite simply, you don't know what you can do until you begin to try and attempt. You could easily be in a space where it's like, well, I've never done that before, so there's no reason for me to think that I'll do it in my future. But this is the idea that we need to revert back to. Emotional alignment, bringing things into existence by being a spiritual engineer, taking raw energy and converting it into tangible energy. We're dealing with the Virgo New Moon, so magic has to be real, or else it's just fantasy. And knowing the real difference. If you can't manifest things in real life, then you're not manifesting nothing. You're just fantasizing and hoping and wishing and praying like Dionne Warwick. So this is a point in time where you channel or deal with cosmic memory, Akashic Records readings or Akashic Records meditations, collective unconscious understanding, dealing with the hive mind, understanding how to plug into particular power sources, whether it's through music, entertainment, deities, energy, you name it. What you resonate with, the energy that you want to focus on, it focuses on you. So these is real major ideas when discussing consciousness as it stands, because we could talk a good game, but you know what you pay attention to. And when you pay attention to negative things, no matter how righteous you claim yourself to be, it somehow manifests in your life in a weird way. And then you're just like, why me? I thought I was righteous. I thought I was, blase blue and blase blee. But energy attracts to itself. Water seeks its own level. So, and this is not a diss or a jab, it's just more of an understanding that what you plug into is going to plug back into you. And to be extra cautious, because we're dealing with new moon. They hijack new moons more than they hijack full moons. Full moons is them counting the money. New moons is them setting a trap. So is you going to set a trap, or is you going to be another victim to the traps that they set? And these is emotional vortexes, and they like to do little petty shit in the news to have y'all sad around these times. Month after month, new moon after new moon, I give this warning, but it tends to, it's not every new moon, but every other new moon or every third new moon, I've noticed the pattern. You can check my website. I've been covering new moons for a while now, just on a study aspect. Not to be deep or not to be special, but just, this is interesting. The patterns of it all. One of the things we've been working towards is masterminding and coming together and figuring out different ways to help each other. Learning how to share ideas, learning how to give advice, learning how to receive advice, learning when to ask for advice, learning when to show respect, and learning how to grow with each other. Because no matter who I speak to, no matter what example is being shown, if you haven't learned how to properly connect and be a solid individual within your groups, you are going to be taken down. If you don't have discernment about who you choose to spend your energy with and share your energy with, your energetic combinations will bring you down. Very simple. But people really think that they really live in a vacuum. Mind you, they have a phone with a camera up to their face all day. Laptop shining in their face all day. Like these things, like Patriot Act, there is no privacy. All of these things exist. So the idea is now, since you know you don't live in a vacuum, since you know that you are a part of a network or a collective consciousness, what are you going to do about it, and how are you going to help that? How is this energy going to help you as far as making some money and growing? If you got negative memories and things that hold you back from particular thought spaces, then that's your choice. If you want to tap into the most cosmic of the cosmologies of all time, extra celestial, whatever, that's your choice too. The choice is yours and the power is yours. So, it's not a cliche. So Neptune conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is in the constellation of Aquarius. This is, doubling down on what we've been talking about all episode or all video, learning to align with the collective consciousness and figuring out how to properly utilize your throat chakra or your modality of expression properly. One way is through existence, which we all is a space and time that we all find that we call now is existing in the realm. You in the moment of now, you exist somewhere, you're existing. What is the language of existence is what you call love. Now love is relative and subjective to who you are, but we all understand what I'm referencing when we say love. And expressing love as opposed to expecting it, and learning how to connect and to plug into the all as opposed to the me. Because the me is a self-generating power source, but it also has a source which we call the planet Sirius, or the goddess. This energy could be easily usurped by the media, politics, so stay away from any sensationalism or major quote-unquote news stories around this time. Said that twice. The vortex is the space. Mars, which I said, they're flanked. The new moon is flanked. First decan, third decan. Venus being in the third decan, Mars being in the first decan. Trine Pluto. The first decan is about the unconscious raw energy. The second decan is the actual motor. The third decan is the manifestation from the first and second decans of Virgo. Mars in this potential space is realizing that you can actively understand the imagination and not put it in a space where it's good or bad, traumatic or non-traumatic, expected or unexpected. It just is. And what is a choice. So we're really commanding our perception. We're really utilizing some Nine of Cups energy where that crown chakra is activated. And once that crown chakra is activated, then that simply means that we're controlling our perception. Once we control our perception, the code or the move is to transform. And once we transform, we're aligning to the path. Our path is to act out in our best interest. Spiritual development, self-development, self-understanding, know thyself. But it's not just like some catchphrase, it's a school. And like any school, there's different grades. And with any particular grade, there's a particular time and development that takes. And each level you raise up. And each level you learn more. I think the levels are exponential and infinite, in my personal opinion. So really be wary of the hierarchical rulers that not teaching you and helping you and not guiding you to some shit. Just want you to respect them. Be wary. So finally, we got the card of the week, the Ace of Wands. www.holistic.com is the website where you can follow along with me as we discuss this Ace of Wands energy and how it relates to the new moon. We're discussing a masculine, active principle of manifestation. We are referencing the source of creation, potential, or that which has yet to come into existence. This is another idea for the vortex. So in studying the Ace of Wands, we are uncovering another layer of the vortex. We are referencing perfect unity with the source outside of dimensions which are found within. Although not realized, we have the potential from this perspective to manifest all that we desire. In a more spiritual sense, it indicates that you are on fire with your passion for your soul's journey in discovering your spiritual path in this life. There is an opportunity to rewrite your life so you can give time to justice to this most important aspect of yourself. What we are trying to say is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the more that we understand and the more that we learn about our spiritual existence, the better our human experience becomes. The problem is that we're so focused on our human experience that we forget that we are in control of our lives. New moons allow us a space and time to take control. It is represented by the dark moon, the dark womb, the fertile land for us to plant our ideas and watch them grow. I thank you guys for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel, please share this video, and please feel free to use the donation links. Peace.